I'm sitting here last night, honestly. By the way, folks, I got a couple I told you so's today. They're just here. Belichick is the biggest genius in the NFL. I knew it, and I've got the audio soundbites to prove it. I sent Snerdley a note last night, complete with an email, said, look at what did I just say today? And I have that coming up. And Chick-fil-A, the manners, the good manners columnist at the Washington Post is now demanding that if you have good manners, you will avoid Chick-fil-A. And this comes on the heels of what we talked about with McDonald's yesterday and how they all together with talk about Scott Walker. And one of the reasons he's polling so well with the Republicans is he's fighting back. Speaking of which, Politico, right here it is, Rush Limbaugh rallies behind Scott Walker. Conservative radio titan Rush Limbaugh says Scott Walker is what's been missing from the Republican Party, a fighter. And so they got hold of this on Fox News today. They asked Carl Rove about it. And Rove counseled caution. Let's not get too excited too soon about polling data this early. Let's all just pull back and be reasonable about this. So that's a giant see, I told you so. There's also, when it comes to the Seahawks, folks, this one is actually real. I mean, in terms of it being out there, a legitimate news story, this call that happened in that game. We're going to get back to the vaccine thing here in just a second. I'm just setting the table with all's coming up on the program today. This thing with that stupid, that inexplicable call, the last play of the game in the Super Bowl. Do you know that call? Do you know that the reason that call was made was because of latent racism on the Seahawks coaching staff? Yeah, I got it right there in the Nation magazine. And by the way, not just there, it's everywhere where you find lunatic leftists. Well, why does it make no sense? Why is it? Well, I'll explain it. If you just sit there and be patient, I'll explain it from the left's perverted thought process. I'll tell you how that call was racist. The call was racist not to give the ball to Marshawn Lynch and instead give it to Russell Wilson because the Seahawks and Coach Carroll think that Wilson is a much cleaner cut black guy. He's a more wholesome black guy than Marshawn Lynch. He's not as dark as Marshawn Lynch. And Seahawks liberals do. And they have now said that they got a source in the Seahawks locker room that told them this. And unnamed, this is exactly how liberals think. Liberals think anything like this cannot happen. There has to be a reason. There has to be a bigoted reason behind everything that they can't explain. And in this case, the Seahawks coaching, now we're in a split-second circumstance here. We've got less than a minute. We got one timeout. We've got the Super Bowl. But this is what's crazy about the Belichick is a genius rumors. Everybody's in panic mode at that time. Nobody is traveling along at 5 miles an hour, seeing the whole world go by in slow motion and have time to come up with a reason genius like everybody's reacting here. And so the idea that Belichick is some genius by not calling a timeout and forcing the Patriots into throwing a pass, that's as ridiculous as this, which is that the Seahawks coaching staff, not just Carroll, but the management too, they're tired of Marshawn Lynch. He's a bad actor. He grabs crotch after touchdowns, gets fined. He won't talk to the media. They don't want this guy to be the star of the game. No way. They want the clean-cut face of the franchise, Russell Wilson, to be the star of the game. That's why they didn't call a play that would win the Super Bowl. And they claim that they've got a source in the Seattle locker room, player, unnamed, that is responsible for spreading this rumor. And there are many other rumors that are variations on that theme that are other. You probably have heard them. But the left is eagerly picking this one up and running with it. Racism, bigotry explains why Marshawn Lynch did not get the call.